Well, hello everyone. I'm Chris Egan and welcome to our King 5 Plus High School Football State Playoffs preview show. The draws, they are now officially out, and now it's time to look ahead to see who we think will be playing for state titles at Husky Stadium on December 5th and 6th. In the next half hour, we'll look at all the brackets and hear from coaches from across the state of Washington. Let's begin with a look at the 4A draw. On the top of the draw, you got a great game between the 11 seed Kennedy Catholic and the 6 seed Graham Kapowsin. GK knocked off O'Day at the start of the season. Kennedy Catholic is getting hot at the right time. They also have one of the best defensive players in the state, Derek Coleman-Brusa. This should be a tight game. Winner of this game gets the winner of Curtis and Gonzaga Prep. G-Prep, the number 3 seed, but Curtis knows about playing against good teams. They've already had to face off against Sumner and Puyallup this season. So head coach Darren McKay says his team will be ready.
I know ever since you took over Curtis, it's been a ride up the mountain, and you guys continue just to find success. What's been a key with this year's team right now?
I think coming into the season, we had to replace all those skill kids.
Yeah.
Parker and Xavier, and the year before that it was Rocco. So that was where all the attention was, and then gradually we just started building this group of kids that play on both the offensive and defensive line. And in preseason, we said, that's for us to go. It's going to have to be them, and they've come through.
Well, from one great coach to another, Tom Boehner has his Bothell High team back in the state playoffs. Bothell, the 10 seed, they will hit the road and face off against the 7 seed Moses Lake. Winner of that game will more than likely face Lake Stevens. Lake Stevens is the 2nd seed. They're going to take on Kamiakin in round 1. Lake Stevens comes into the state tournament with a perfect record. They have big wins over Sumner, Glacier Peak, and Bellevue. Head coach Tom Try runs a great program. Since 2018, the Vikings have won 2 state championships. They've placed second 2 other times. Coach Try explains what you need to do to win during the postseason.
Number 1, take care of the football. We have to take care of the ball. We've got to try to get it back when we're on defense. I think physicality up front. I like our O-line. I like our D-line. But if our skill guys take care of the ball and we have a little bit of time to throw the ball and we got a few holes to run through, I think we'll do a good job of putting some points up and trying to find ways to stop them from doing the same exact thing. But that's what makes it fun in high school football is, you never know, and you got to go out and play the game. And it's not on paper. It's on the field, and it's in front of 5,000 fans. And
yeah, Coach Try knows what he is doing. Lake Stevens has a great game day environment. They get big crowds with the number 2 seed. They will be hosting all the way up through the semifinals, so that is an advantage for the Vikings. Now let's take a look at the rest of the 4A bracket. Glacier Peak grabs the 13th seed. They'll have to travel to the Tri-Cities and face the number 4 seed Chiawana. That will not be an easy game. And then you've got the 5 seed, the defending state champs from Sumner. Ever since losing to the Puyallup Vikings, this team has been on a mission. Sumner head coach Keith Ross says a very tough schedule will have his team ready for the playoffs. He also took some time to talk about last year's magical ride.
Last year at Husky Stadium, you brought home the first state title for Sumner since the late 70s. How special was that ride for that team last year? How special was that to carry that on into this season?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience for us. We've been battling at it. I've been here 25 years now. We've been close other times, and just last year was kind of magical. Just things fell into place. We won at triple overtime. We won on a last-second field goal twice. And it was great for this community. The off-season was amazing. I smiled more than I probably have ever smiled. But, and I think we rode it a little too long into this season, and we realized that this wasn't a new season. And so we've had a good talk with the team and coaches, and, we got to move past that and, get on to this year's legacy.
Well, and that's why he's one of the best coaches in the state. And with that in mind, it is about this season. You've had 3 losses, but they are against very, very good teams. One at Lake Stevens, final seconds of the play. One against one of the best teams out of the state of Oregon, if not the best. One against a pretty good Puyallup team. How much can your team learn from those losses as we get closer to the playoffs here?
We'll learn. It'll help us in the end of the season. But they were defeating and crushing to us, and it might have taken us a little too long to get over that. But now we've kind of refocused and got our true north again. We're really trying to, embody what Sumner football is and get back to what we do and how we do it. And, I think, you never want to say this, but I think those losses might have got us in the right direction. And, they're going to help us later on in the playoffs.
Yeah, they are playing with a chip on their shoulder right now. All right, also in the bottom of the draw, you have Skyline. They are the number 9 seed. They're going to hit the road to take on the number 8 seed Camas, the paper makers from Camas. Camas in the state championship last year, but this young Skyline coaching staff has their team playing some great football right now. Whoever wins between Camas and Skyline will play the winner of Eastlake and Puyallup. Eastlake is the 16th seed. Puyallup is the number 1 seed. Over the past decade, Eastlake has been a state contender. They're well coached, but this could be the best Puyallup team of all time, and that is saying a lot because there have been a lot of great Puyallup teams over the years. The Vikings are loaded on the O-line, D-line. They have so many weapons on offense, and they have dominated everyone this season. They beat Graham Capallison 43-14. They beat Sumner 58-22. Last week, they beat Kamiak 77-0. This season, the Vikings have a new head coach, DJ Mims. I talked to Coach about making the move from Mercer Island to Puyallup and the culture he brought to Puyallup.
Well, I think from the days I used to play, it's like you respect your elders, you respect your head coaches. And nowadays, it's a little bit different with the new generation of kids. It's like you got to earn that respect as a coach. And once you earn that, these kids will walk through a wall for you. And so that's what we did. You know, I got to know these kids, you know, not just as the football players, but what they are like outside of the football program. We did a lot of team bonding events. We did community service events in the summertime where we broke all the kids into 15 player groups and then did like various things around the community. And so I think we grew together throughout the spring and summer. And then now, you know, we're kind of like, you know, there's that trust barrier that's built, and so, you know, and then it's all about having fun too. Like we play music at practice, you know, we do fun things, we give them stickers for, you know, on the field accolades and off the field accolades, and so I just think being a Puyallup Viking right now it's a good time to be one for sure if you're a player.
Puyallup Vikings locked and loaded. They will be a tough out. Could be fun to see a Puyallup-Sumner showdown there in the semifinals. If that's a semifinal game, it could be the biggest game at Sparks Stadium since Billy Joe Hobart led the Vikings against Mark Weekley back in the late 80s. That was a fun one there. All right, coming up next, we're just warming up. We're going to turn our attention to the 3A ranks. This season, it is wide open in the 3A. Can the defending champs from O'Day repeat? We'll break down the 3A bracket coming up next. Third down and 1. Ball in the 13. Kind of guessed that was going to happen. First down and some change. And how about this run? Are you kidding me? JD on Scranton with the hat trick. almost didn't have the first down, Carl. Then out of nowhere, like Houdini, just came popping out of the box and into the end zone. Great run right there.
Weaving all over the place.
Well, welcome back to King 5 Plus in our special high school football state playoff preview show. That was a clip from our big game last Friday night. Lincoln taking on Mount Vernon. Lincoln is a team that is getting hot at the right time, but their draw in the state playoffs is not an easy one. Here's a look at the 3A state bracket. We'll start with the top half of the bracket. Enumclaw back in the state playoffs. They're going to hit the road to face off against Kennewick. That will not be an easy game, but Coach Gunderson will have his team ready to roll. Some think Eastside Catholic has the team to win a state title this season. They are the number 3 seed. They will start with Southridge. I think the best game is going to be Rainier Beach, the number 7 seed, taking on Lincoln, the number 10 seed. Lincoln lost 3 games this season, but head coach Masaki Matsumoto has his Abes peaking at the right time.
We lost a good amount of seniors last year, so we knew it would take some time. But I'm just super proud of the kids for, hanging in there. We were 2-3, and now we've won, I think, 5 in a row. And the kids are doing great, and I think they're feeling confident too.
Is there any secrets when it comes to postseason play? You are no stranger to getting your teams in the playoffs, and you've been through it before. Is there any secrets on how you get teams ready?
It kind of sounds cliche, but we just say, hey, it's another opponent, and we have to prepare the same way we've been doing it. We don't want them to get too hyped or too focused on the other team, because at the end of the day, we control ourselves, and obviously we're going to prepare for them, but we try to just treat each week like it's a very important game.
Just tell me a little bit about your philosophy since you've come here to Lincoln.
Yeah, I just it didn't change when I came to Lincoln. We use football as a vehicle to help young men, become better versions of themselves, and and if we lose sight of that, then we shouldn't be coaching. It's not about the wins and losses, but in my experience, if you focus on those things, the wins kind of take care of itself. So that's a cool thing about it.
Coach Masaki doing some great things at Lincoln High. All right, the winner of the Lincoln versus Rainier Beach game will get the winner of the Mount Dahoma Seattle Prep game. Mount Dahoma is the 2nd seed in the 3A. They are undefeated, and you could argue they deserve the number 1 seed. They're a perfect 10-0 this season. They have quality wins over Camas. Lincoln, they took out a Great Lakes Lancers team 28-7. Mount Dahoma won back-to-back state titles in 1979 and 1980, and this could be their best chance to get back in the title game. Mount Dahoma head coach Keith Terry has done a phenomenal job since taking over as the head coach. Take me back a little bit when you got here. What was kind of your hopes, your dreams, your goals, your philosophy when you took over this program?
Yeah, the big thing for me was giving back to my community. I had coached other places, had helped turn programs around, and everything just kind of fell in place here. And so I came back first. I was an assistant coach for a couple of years, and my biggest thing was trying to help restructure and set a foundation. And so when the opportunity arose for me to become the head coach, I learned from a lot of great head coaches prior to myself, and I just took their philosophies and kind of molded it into my own. And with that, it started with setting a foundation of, not only on the field but off the field, right? And our big thing is student athletes still, right? And so we preach the same thing in the building that's down here, right? And we, try to build relationships with the teachers, try to build relationships with the community, and to find those avenues, right? And then to give these guys something to be proud of. And so that's where we kind of foundationally started, and everything else just kind of happened organically, right? When we did that part, the kids saw that they had something to believe in. And when that happened, right, they just all kind of came together.
What a run right there on that one. And we've got a great story in the Prep Zone coming out soon about Mount Dahoma football. All right, the top half of the 3A bracket, going to be tough to get through. Bottom half, just as difficult. Dave Miller and his Lakes Lancers get the 5 seed. They're going to face off against Steve Alec and Liberty. Two of the nicest coaches, by the way, in the state. Winner of that game will face the winner of Kelso and Bellevue, the Wolverines. They won the state title 2 years ago. They were in the state title game last year. Bellevue head coach Michael Knipe knows the stage gets a little bigger and brighter in the playoffs.
You don't get this every Friday night. You know, the whole town comes out. It is going to be loud and rocking here, which is like, that's what you do it for, right? When the lights turn on and it's loud, you have the band and cheerleading packed house, like, you don't get that every single week. And so it's special for them. I think they take a lot of pride in being able to come in and enjoy that. And that's what we always talk about is special moments and special environments that we're excited to be here.
The White River Hornets are having one of their best seasons in school history. They beat their rivals Enumclaw for the first time in 18 years, and now they are getting ready for a first-round matchup against Cedro Woolley. Cedro Woolley is the number 8 seed, White River the 9 seed. White River head coach Wyatt Evanson has done a lot to change the culture in Buckley.
How much fun is it for these guys?
More fun for anything is just the fact that this was the senior group. It's freshmen. They went 1-8. I came in right before their sophomore year, and a lot of those sophomores had to step up in big roles as varsity players because that's all we had. Those are the best options that we had, and I could just tell from the get-go, like every time we started 0-3 my very first year, and those kids were in tears, and I wanted to be in tears, I just couldn't be, so I just talking to them, and they're like, I just want to win, I just want to win. I was like, cool, trust the process. So it's really just been a full circle moment, the fact that we get to do it with this group, because we knew, very early on when we were sophomores, like by the time these guys are seniors, we're going to be in one of those positions to win a league and be undefeated.
We'll see if they can carry that momentum into the state playoffs. Winner of the White River versus Cedro Woolley game will more than likely get the number 1 seed, O'Day, in the second round. O'Day gets Ferndale in round 1. Ferndale will try their best to pull off the big upset, but Monty Kohler has his team playing some great football right now. After losing their opener on the road to GK, the Irish, they haven't lost. Monty Kohler became the winningest coach in state history with a win over Rainier Beach, but Monty doesn't waste a whole lot of time talking about records.
It's not about that record, it's just about the process of going through all of it together with them and the players. So
he doesn't really like to talk about all that, and he likes to keep it within us, but he deserves it, and he's an amazing coach, and I love him to death, and he's the GOAT. That's all I got to say. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, he is the GOAT for sure. Monty Kohler, he has coached at O'Day now for 41 years, still going strong. No plans of retirement yet for Monty Kohler. O'Day Irish, they are going to be a tough out in the 3A ranks. 3A is going to be some fun stuff. All right, up next, we got more fun. I'll share my favorite moment from the past season, and we'll take a look at the other brackets as this state playoffs preview show rolls on. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to our King 5 Plus High School Football State Playoff Preview Show. The 2A bracket is loaded with some legendary programs. Tumwater, Archbishop Murphy, Anacortes is back for more, and Linden is also in the hunt. This year, Linden is the 6th seed. They will take on West Valley in the first round. Linden has won 10 state titles over the years. Blake Van Dalen started coaching at Linden back in 1997.
The word that sticks out to me is blessed, because I got to be a ball boy and then play for Rolly DeCoster. And then I got to learn how to coach under Kurt Cramey. We do put in a lot of time. We do sacrifice a lot, but the reward way outweighs any sacrifice, and that's part of life.
Well, from 2007 to 2018, Anacortes only had 2 winning seasons. In 2018, they were 0-9, finished with only 16 players on the varsity roster. In 2019, Anacortes made a bold decision. They decided to not have a varsity football team. They would build back their program and start with their freshman and sophomore class. The move paid off. Anacortes has won back-to-back state titles. Justin Ports from Anacortes talks about only fielding a JV team back in 2019.
So we had a very good freshman incoming class. They had a lot of success in youth. They had played together for a long time. We just thought, let's build around that group. So how do we do that? Well, if we have those freshmen play varsity, they're gonna get beat up, hurt, and probably not win any games. But I think these freshmen can compete with JV teams, and so we did that. I put the state championship as a goal on the board at a parent meeting, and this guy said, I just thought you were crazy. I liked it, but I just thought, this guy's nuts. This is Anacortes. We're not, we're hoping the football team gets better.
And they've got a lot better. Last but not least, the number 1 seed in the 2A bracket, Archbishop Murphy. They are undefeated. They average over 50 points a game, give up less than 6 points a game. They are very good, and they are the team to beat in the 2A bracket. This is one of the best Archbishop Murphy teams of all time. They are looking for their first title since 2016. All right, taking a look at the 1A bracket, Cashmere, Mount Baker, Linden Christian all have great teams that could win a title this year. But in the 1A, the team to beat, still Royal. The Royal Knights, 10-0. They beat the number 2 seed Cashmere in a great game. The Knights won the 1A title 7 of the last 8 years. They have 12 state titles in school history. Looking for a great round 1 game? How about Nooksack Valley and Life Christian? That's going to be a good one. Montesano and Tenino should also be a solid round 1 game. In the 2B bracket, Toledo is the team to beat. They picked up the number 1 seed. The Riverhawks average over 40 points a game. Okanagan, Napavine have faced off in the state title game the last 3 years. This year, that will not happen. Okanagan is the 5 seed. Napavine gets the 8 seed. If they both advance, they could face off in the semifinals. That could be a fun one. In the 1B bracket, the Irish from DeSales grabbed the number 1 seed. The private school from Walla Walla is going after their 5th state football title. They last won back in 2007. Last year, Wilbur Creston Keller won the title. They beat Liberty Christian in the state title game. As you look at the bracket, those 2 teams could meet again, but in the quarterfinals. King 5 Sports Team wishes everybody good luck in these playoffs, and you can count on King 5 to bring you all the highlights from the big games. And, of course, we'll be at the state championship games at Husky Stadium on December 5th and 6th. And as we wrap up our streaming show, a look back at some of our favorite high school moments this season. The crowds this season, simply amazing, pretty much packed house at every big game that we went to. Best halftime show this season has to go to the Sumner Spartans. They had a full fireworks show at the half. The Spartans always put on a show for the King 5 big game. Favorite pregame meal, Mount Tahoma Bellarmine prep game. Yeah, Mount Tahoma parents know how to do it. Slow-cooked chicken and ribs on the grill. So good. That was by far the best. And we'll go from chicken and ribs to a hog trailer. Best moment so far, the Enumclaw offensive line escorted onto Pete's Pool in a hog trailer. It's a moment that went viral on social media. Enumclaw head coach Mark Gunderson explains the history of the hog trailer in the Claw.
Is it officially a hog trailer or cattle trailer?
In Enumclaw, it's a hog trailer.
It's a hog trailer. And this is an old tradition, right?
Oh, yeah. We've been doing this for 6 years, I want to say.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, pre-COVID, and our kids love it. I mean, does it get any better than that for offensive line guys? We had Gray Zabel out watching film. Tyson, you'll have to ask him, but he stopped by our film session and sat with our O-line right up front, and so that was pretty fun for our kids because they didn't know he was coming, but I wanted to show him that clip. And so I said, hey, would you have liked to get out of that trailer? And he goes, I'm standing here wondering how we can do that at Lumen. So
it may happen.
So it's pretty fun, man.
Coach, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Coach Gunderson has done a great job at Enumclaw. His father was once the coach at Enumclaw. And full circle there, earlier in this show, we heard from Sumner head coach Keith Ross. Coach Gunderson actually played for Keith Ross at Sumner High. Those two have become very close friends through the years. They root on each other. They don't have to play against each other. So Sumner, Enumclaw, both in the state tournament. And it's great to see those relationships still going strong. And a big thanks to all the coaches, school administrators, parents, athletes, and the WIAA for making it easy to cover all the schools this season. It's going to be a fun state playoff run. Good luck to everyone in the playoffs. We're looking forward to seeing who makes it to Husky Stadium. Will the Vikings be back in the state championship game? It could be a Viking showdown in the 4A, Puyallup versus Lake Stevens, but they got some games to go. Will O'Day be back, ready to repeat in the 3A ranks? And will Mount Tahoma get a state title for the city of Tacoma for the first time in a very long time? 1980 was the last time they won. All right, for the entire King 5 crew, I'm Chris Egan. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon on the sidelines.
Season, so let's get ready to ride this.